Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Tune in, tune in, tune in to alternate ending. Now! Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Robert Jarosinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer, Carrey Jarosinski, and our very own critic in residence, Tim Brayton, with Annihilation, the second directorial feature film by Alex Garland, hitting theaters this weekend, and both Tim and my top 5 spring anticipated movies. We're covering our top 5 second films. But first, I see a gift here on our table. Care, what's this all about?
I'm so excited. So, Tim, I know you don't know what this is. This is, I have to get my video out actually.
It's like a box. It's got a bow on it. I think I have a pretty good sense of what it is.
This is your birthday /
The birthday
Christmas.
that you forgot.
Yes, the birthday that you forgot on the air.
I didn't forget.
I was like, Carrey, it's my birthday. Are you going to wish me a happy birthday? And you were like, there's like a thumbprint on my wine glass. What the hell's that about?
I try to be one of those aloof friends that I don't want you to think I'm like, oh, you have to be my friend. So what I do is I seem aloof and I pretend that I don't know your birthday. And then I bring you gifts 3 months later. 2 months later.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's novel, Tim.
Later.
Everybody else celebrated
this
on
is also
your day.
Christmas.
This is, off.
And it's also Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's everything. A lot of holidays.
Is it also St. Patrick's Day?
No.
So I've got another present coming. Is what
you
you're
do.
saying. Okay, great.
This is part of a new...
And one of the gifts, too, is Tim likes nothing more than doing like visual gags.
I love that.
Audio
like
podcasts.
Like we are talking about. It's a very lovely wrapping job.
Tell me more about it.
It's got stripes. There's a red stripe with dots and a purple stripe with a pink stripe and also dots.
Yes.
And I like this bow.
Isn't it really nice? I'm going to save that. I want that back.
You should.
Actually.
Oh, totally. It's like a translucent situation going on. Like it's sort of a like clear salmon bow.
Mm-hmm. I've been excited about this gift for a very long time, so I hope that you like it. Also, it comes with added perks. So I'll tell you about it after you open it.
All right. So I'm going to commemorate the fact that this is a visual event on an audio podcast. I'm going to try and open the paper into the microphone. So I'm sure this sounds extraordinarily pleasant as you're listening. All right.
I just want to see your face. What's in the box, man?
Open carefully. Cutting
face.
Seal can damage product. Okay.
I know. This is part of what's in the box series.
So what's in the box right now is white cubicle styrofoam.
We don't care about the environment here.
Let's see. It's got the word stop on it. So let's see. I'm trying to...
Tell me more. You have to pull it open.
I'm trying to pull it open. I'm not sure. I don't want to
I feel like you're trying very hard.
I don't know which side to pull it open from.
Okay.
This is great radio right now.
I know.
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on, man.
There we go. All right. It is a black mug. Oh, this is awesome. It has it says Mr. Tim, film critic, alternate ending, and it has a portrait of Joan of Arc that is for some reason associated with me on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh.
And I like it. This is adorable.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm glad you like
This
it.
is very, very
now,
cool.
when you're in the coffee shops, there's no doubt as to who you are. So when someone actually compliments you on your cup, you'll know that they're a keeper.
Exactly.
Of whoever it is you're talking with.
If it's a barista, I just know that barista, I need to propose to them on the spot.
So no, you guys, you're ruining my entire plan. That's exactly my plan. So I've just saved you like years of dating and potentially I don't know if they charge for Match.com anymore, but if they do.
They do.
Do not pay for it because here's the thing. All you have to do, this is the ticket. All you have to do is carry this in for BYOM type places. Exactly. You bring it in, you sit there, and you can just fill up your mug all day. The minute somebody approaches you and they're like, oh, Joan. That's when you're going to...
That's actually how Carrey and I met, is I had a cup with bondage on it. And
all right.
She was
that makes perfect sense.
I love the cup.
I love your cup. And that's when I knew.
Keeper.
Right.
So... I want that to...
So the first person who recognizes this very iconic still from The Passion of Joan of Arc is the person I must marry.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It was either that or Irreversible or Human Centipede. We went with Joan of Arc.
I think that was the right call.
Okay.
So are you going to use it, you think?
Of course I'm going to use it.
Oh, good.
I mean,
and don't dishwash it. I'm nervous. It says
I don't
you
have
can
a dishwasher. It's perfect.
Oh, right. I knew that.
I wash my dishes by hand like an animal.
Yes. Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you like it. Happy birthday,
happy
Valentine's
birthday.
Day, Christmas.
Very exciting.
Let's talk some movies. Let's get into our worth mentioning
Yes.
segment. Of the movies since we've seen the last episode, which are the ones we want to talk about most? They could be great movies. They could be terrible. We share them either way. Care, how many movies have you seen since the last episode?
4.
Nice. That's above
my average.
You're like, can you get
My
2 to 3 average?
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw I, Tonya.
Nice.
And then I know it was pretty nice. And then I saw unexpectedly nice. But anyway, I saw Last Flag Flying. I saw Roman J. Esquire, and I saw Black Panther.
Nice.
So I think I'm going to chat.
I believe you saw Roman J. Israel.
Oh,
comma,
is there an Esquire in there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there is.
Esquire is his. That
little ending.
That's
right. That's right. So that's right. So I think I'm going to talk about Black Panther.
Oh, as you should.
Should I?
So this is like a documentary on the 1970s political group. I take it.
A little bit like that, only it's set in Africa. Was that?
I see no reason. I mean, they were primarily active in California, but I think,
still works.
different perspectives on historical events work.
Sure.
Just crossed the 200 million mark opening
Did
weekend.
it?
Right?
That's got to be like a record for a documentary.
We're still going with that, are we?
I am not going to stop that.
To be fair, Black Panther, the comic book series, 1966 origin, which predates the Black Panther movement origin.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of.
I just assumed it was named for the. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of thought the same. But so Rob and I both picked this on our most anticipated of the spring. And it is the story of the events that follow Captain America Civil War. And so it's the story of King T'Challa. And he returns home from the reclusive African nation of Wakanda, where he lives with lots of people. And it's this secretly flourishing, maybe, I don't want to spoil anything. I'm worried what people do and don't know, but it's a secretly flourishing land. And they think it's this third world country back in all the other countries. And he's being challenged for his throne. And so he has to go and save the land that's there. And Black Panther has to come out and take things into his own hands. And
or claws.
Oh, which are made of, Rob?
Vibranium.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's another question I have on that. They said in the thing that vibranium is the strongest metal that exists. How does that stack up against Thor's hammer thing?
Well, that's magic, so
Yeah.
that doesn't count.
But what about your...
Also, spoiler alert, he doesn't have a hammer anymore.
I don't know.
He's hammerless.
In the Thor, the Ragnarok
It's
picture.
coming back.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you're going down the adamantium.
Yeah, the adamantium.
versus vibranium.
Adamantium.
At this moment in time, they don't own the rights to adamantium.
Yeah,
they
so
are
I
getting
don't
the
know.
rights back when they buy Fox.
I don't really know in the comic. I'm a comic book geek, but clearly not that strong
Yeah.
enough. I don't know how Wolverine's claws would stack up against Captain America's shield.
Maybe that's where they're going with this.
I hope there's an entire movie about nothing but like Wolverine like poking Captain America's shield over and over again until he puts a little dent in it.
That would
and then
be
he yells,
good.
"Aha!" and then it cuts to credits.
And that would be your first 5-star Marvel.
That would be the first 5-star
Yeah.
Marvel movie.
I thought
Well, this
so.
movie is getting a ton of attention because it's an mostly made up of an all black cast.
Except for the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Who's
Mary.
doing
Is it Mary?
Martin Freeman, who's doing a really bad American accent.
Yeah,
to be,
it's
to
not
be fair.
great.
Now then,
I don't know.
His American accent is terrible. I haven't seen this movie, but he's just some actors can and some actors
Yeah,
can't.
he's acting great, just with a very bad American accent. That being said, go ahead, Karen.
The only other really big drawback for me was I can confirm that it was not number 23. Michael Jordan was not in the movie.
I believe you were told.
I was.
I think.
I didn't really trust you, so it wasn't. It was played by. So he's Eric Killmonger in the movie, and I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was super action-packed the entire time. I really liked the diversion from, I think, some of the previous Marvel movies. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie to me.
Okay.
It feels like a character and sort of like societal study to me more than a Marvel movie, I think.
Very heavy on the political messages. For me, it forced down a little bit too much. It didn't come through in a very genuine manner, but I really enjoyed the movie. I kind of thought of it as a middle of the road.
Oh no, it's better than middle of the road.
The set pieces, the world building
Beautiful,
that was
really pretty.
involved is great. Tim, you had talked about the Afro tech
Afrofuturism.
Afrofuturism. Beautiful. I mean, it's basically like you have the society that is untouched by colonization, which didn't happen in our history, in actual history. So you kind of see kind of a glimpse of what that might have been like had that happen, and it's breathtaking to look at.
It really is. And Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther, and then Lupita Nyong plays Nakia. They're the love interests in this, and they are super cute and super sweet together too. And she is stunning.
You gotta give it up though. Like for me, my attention was in every scene that the guards were in, the all-female guards led by the general.
Oh my gosh.
Okoye, played by Danae Guerrera. They stole every action scene that they were in as well too. Like those were the highlights for me was the female all-female guards.
Because the one thing I'd heard even from like the rave reviews was that the action was disappointing. I haven't seen the
I agree.
Really?
I think the action, and I told Carrey
this. I don't think this at all.
I said the action between the leads were
this was way more action than any of the Thor movies or anything like that.
Well, if we're going to start comparing them to the Thor movies.
I don't know if Ryan Coogler knows.
Hot take, Black Panther's better than Thor 2.
No, but I think there was a lot of action. And like Rob said, the group of women and like the female matriarchal like structure was pretty awesome too. I compare the woman that you just were talking about, it reminds me of like the African version of Robin Wright. Like she is like a badass. Like she's really awesome, and I loved everything that she was in.
I'd welcome just a backstory on the guards. Everybody was acting well. Everything was fine. Something was clumsily put together. I don't know what it is, but the action didn't do it for me, and it's disappointing because Ryan Coogler, who's the director on this, did Creed. He should know hand-to-hand
scenes.
Yeah,
phenomenal boxing
hand-to-hand combat should be his deal. I just didn't.
I bought it.
Yeah, not for me.
Now I'm curious. You'll be the tiebreaker next time you see it. Come back and tell us.
I don't know that I will necessarily be the tiebreaker, or if I will be the one who goes even farther in the. I mean, we'll see. I don't like Marvel movies. I'm just done. I'm just done with Marvel.
I will say the political messages. What you're dealing with is when you have power, what do you do with it? What's the message?
Your end game?
What's the right thing to do when you have everything at your disposal? Do you share it? Do you protect it? What are the risks and benefits of both? And I like that those are the questions it's asking. It just didn't do it for me, and it didn't come across as genuine. It was a little hand-fed to me, a little bit too much.
I would not necessarily look to a Disney-produced superhero blockbuster tentpole as like a thing that's going to have subtle messaging, though.
No, but a cultural milestone nonetheless. Mainstream movie, all-black cast, really well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool. I really enjoyed it too.
Tim, to you?
So I saw the film's other record-setting blockbuster opening film, the Aardman animation Early Man, which set no records. Maybe it set some record for like lowest grossing Aardman film. I don't know. So it's a caveman movie with a twist. The twist being that the cavemen millennia ago accidentally invented the game of football, aka soccer to us Yanks, but football it is to the Brits. It's a British movie, so I'm going to stick with that. Flash forward several millennia to sometime around probably 2800 BC, where the age of bronze has started, but it hasn't yet quite gotten to this small population of cavemen, and they basically have to win a football match in order to save their valley from the evil, very clearly French-coded, like Bronze Age tyrants. It's an Aardman film. This is the studio who did Wallace and Gromit, Chicken Run, Shaun the Sheep, which was, I think their last feature was Shaun the Sheep movie back in 2015. So this movie is adorable. And that's pretty much kind of it. Like, the set design is really charming. The jokes are super predictable and super corny, but also like in a way that sort of invites you to know that there are those things. I thought it was a very pleasant, lovely, fun movie to watch. Not challenging, does not introduce anything that I did not already know. But if I had kids, I would be like, yeah, this is the kind of movie that I want them to want to see.
Lots of swearing, lots of nudity.
There's a scene where you literally see the guy just like go down on a woman. Fluids are everywhere.
Sure.
CGI puppet. It's all claymation. Claymation vulva just like flaring.
That's disappointing because our kids suckered me into seeing Peter Rabbit, which...
you poor bastard.
Yeah, I was trying to push them towards Early Man so that I can get something out of it.
Early Man is 10,000 times better than Peter Rabbit.
How does it stack up? I don't know. How does it stack up against the other from this?
It's better than so their features. I'm going to see if I can do this quickly from memory. Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, the feature-length version, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, a CG movie called Flushed Away, Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists, a.k.a. Pirates Band of Misfits, depending on which side of the Atlantic Ocean you live in. Shaun the Sheep movie. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Maybe I'm not. Of that batch, I'd say better than Pirates, not as good as any of the others.
Wow. So pretty low, but still enjoyable.
But still enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a really great studio. It was the first film the studio's released in, I believe, since the Wallace and Gromit feature, directed by Nick Park, who is one of the founders of the studio. And he brings back this sort of just like goofy, let's have fun with it attitude towards comedy where like the jokes are all super silly. It's a silly movie.
Yeah.
It's about cavemen playing football. Like of course it's silly.
Early Man. Worth seeing in theaters?
Definitely worth seeing in theaters. Not worth the premium tickets or anything like that, but it's definitely like, again, if you have kids.
What's the youngest age that you recommend?
Oh, I don't have the slightest idea.
I know. I didn't think so.
Anything about developmental psychology like that.
I didn't think so.
I think based on what I know of your children, they could handle it.
Couldn't?
Could.
Oh, could. Okay.
Let's do it. Karen, next week that you're on. I took him to Peter Rabbit. Actually, I'm going to reward myself. I'm going to go see Early Man. Okay. Even though we had like a love-hate relationship with Chicken Run, so we'll see how the
that's true. You're not
really into not pro Chicken Run. No.
Not the claymation stuff. I don't know. We'll give it another shot.
What did you see?
You saw Peter Rabbit. Let's talk about that.
Is that what you're talking about?
I not only saw Peter Rabbit, I saw 6 other movies.
Hey!
So did I beat you 10 this week?
I was at 6, so it sounds like you're at 7.
I'm at 7.
You beat me.
Yeah, it was a good week. We've been cramming for Oscars.
You were not with your family.
Your mom had surgery this week.
I was not with my house. When my mom was in surgery.
It was an excellent week because I got so many movies.
My mom had some pretty invasive surgery, so there was a lot of downtime for me in between slices and dices.
Maybe reiterate. It was an okay
best week of your life.
Best week.
Just wait till your parents die. It'll be even better.
That's right. I'll just imagine how many movies you will see. Yeah.
We're still cramming for Oscars. So one that got away from us was a Best Actor nominated movie in Roman J. Israel Esquire.
Sure.
Yeah, starring Denzel Washington. 2 hours, 2 minutes. IMDb gives it a 6.4. Rotten Tomatoes, 51%. Directed by Dan Gilroy, who directed Nightcrawler, which I enjoy. I love Nightcrawler. I mentioned Denzel Washington up for Best Actor for this. Colin Farrell as well. Mm-hmm. It follows Roman J. Israel Esquire, basically a Rain Man type lawyer. He's been working for...
they don't ever say what it is.
In that he is on the spectrum?
He's on the spectrum. He has the level of retention that he has, but lacks the social interaction ability. So he's kind of a behind-the-scenes lawyer when this starts off. He's been working for very left-wing, kind of a lawyer, pro bono, a lot of stuff. But he has never done a court appearance. Right in the first 15 minutes, his kind of mentor and the person who does go to court passes away, so he's forced into having to, or gets a heart attack, and is forced to go into court, and you realize very quickly why he's not typically allowed in public.
Everyone's like, the secretary's like, ask for a continuance for everything, and then
he just can't let things go. He has a little bit of an anger issues, but he's right in everything he's saying. It's just there's a nuance, there's a way to interact with people that he just doesn't have that people skill set. So it's him trying to survive as a defense attorney after kind of losing his partner in crime and dealing with needing financial success to survive. I thought his acting was incredible. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Denzel just doing what Denzel does.
I can't tell if he did some method acting or whatever you call it, where you gain a bunch of weight. I can't tell if he did that or if he was just wearing really baggy pants. But he looks really bulky in this particular movie in a way that I haven't seen Denzel in another movie before.
Yeah, his acting was great.
It's good.
The movie itself, I didn't really care. Like it had great messages. Sure. I didn't believe that his struggle was authentic.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that character would make these particular choices. That was the challenge.
Sure. I see what you mean. Yeah. You felt like the fact that he was a humanitarian.
Which potentially does rebound on the actor a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I just enjoy watching Denzel on screen because of his charisma. So it's hard for me to separate the two.
Yeah.
So I'll watch anything he's in. This is certainly on the lesser side of the movies that he's been in. I don't, based on this, I'm a little bit of a hint. I'm not going to be penciling him in for best actor for this. Still have Darkest Hour to see, so a little bit of homework left, but that'll do it for us, I think.
Do we have to see Marjorie Prime?
No, that's not.
You should see Marjorie Prime.
But it's not for Oscars.
It's better than probably 9/10 of what is nominated for Oscars.
Okay, good to know. So that's all we have left.
Well, when Tim has a chance to check out Black Panther, Roman J. Israel Esquire, and write up Early Man, which probably will be written up on the site pretty soon, you'll be able to find that and more details about all the movies we've watched at our website, alternateending.com. That's alternateending.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. If you want access,
you are.
Yeah.
Because we're broke.
Yeah,
give us money.
We need some money. And you'll get something in return.
My movie pass didn't work for Early Man. Like, I didn't have reception. I had to pay dollars to see Early Man. So you should at least find a way to give
make very many dollars
personally
either.
$11.
Yeah.
And it's
students don't make a lot of dollars either.
No, we make very few dollars.
Yeah.
It's quid pro quo too. Through our Patreon site, you get access to exclusive content. You can make us watch a movie, pick your own episode topic. You can do it all on our Patreon page. We just posted, we're releasing a series of, I think they're funny.
You think they're funny. I
funny.
think they're really embarrassing.
Probably not.
No, they're probably not.
Are they the ones where Carrey doesn't know anything and we make fun of her in like a sexualized way?
That's basically all of the videos are that way.
I'm really glad to be a part of this show, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, we're sharing early releases of those videos on our Patreon. One of them is out right now featuring some, explaining to Carrey how Alien is sexual in nature.
I still don't think it is, but whatever.
We have a couple more going out there. We do our outtakes on there too. Probably some exclusive pics. We'll post maybe these birthday gift items, some pictures of that.
Oh yeah, gotta get another picture with a good mug. Everyone's gonna want this mug after they see it.
Also, I want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better and allowing Tim to be able to see movies without having to pay for
without having to pay money like a plebe, like all of you people.
Since our last episode, here are the things that were purchased. We had a gift card. This goes a long way. $100 Amazon gift card.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Gold Hearts box. So imagine Valentine's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day to all our listeners.
I don't think I've ever gotten a gift card for Valentine's Day.
No, you get edible, really expensive.
Edibles? That's really nice. Maybe not worth talking about on the air. There might be cops listening, but if you've got any edibles, I will totally take some at the break.
I will.
Also had someone maybe doing some remodeling, bathroom vanity, double-sided freestanding pedestal, makeup, and shaving mirror.
Oh, nice.
3 times magnification.
Yeah.
When it gets up close like that, I see my pores and I'm creeped out.
No, I can see them from here. You don't need a mirror.
I guess you don't need the 3 times magnification. Also had a little accident protection on some musical instruments. Oh, on a Zoom ZH1 handy portable digital recorder. Maybe we have a journalist or someone maybe trying to have a competing podcast. So I don't know what they're using their Zoom ZH1 for. But they got the 3-year accident protection.
Nice.
I don't know if that's worth it, but I appreciate it. Appreciate the.
Of course, it's worth it. You should always protect all of your things, especially if you buy it through us.
Also had a 3-ring binder. Possibly put the manual for the Zoom ZH1 in. Pet supplies. Oh, they're back.
Here we go.
The Nutramax grain-free adult recipe. Pasture fed. The dog is.
I love the dog cycle of food.
We are very happy that your dog is in good health and still eating.
I know.
Also, some Command. Actually, our all of our foam here insulation is hung by the Command picture and frame hanging strips, 24 pair, along with the wire hooks. So someone hanging some pictures. Also had an Amazon free channel subscription.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that helps us a lot. Also, 4 weddings and a funeral. Rent it. Good flick on Amazon Instant Video. Also had Bloodsport on Amazon Instant Video.
Is that a good one?
It's like 4 Weddings, a very noted Best Picture nominee.
Okay.
And last but not least, no, it's not at all. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Obviously
it's
not.
It's called Bloodsport.
Playing Frank Dukes.
Don't toy with me. Yeah. Speaking of toying with me, when you said edibles, I laughed at your joke. I actually thought you were talking about edible, clothing, edible. Have you ever seen edible undies?
That's where my mind.
And you're like, the police are coming, and I was like, can they get you for edible undies? Is that a thing?
Note to self: no pot culture jokes in front of Carrey.
I'll get them next time.
All right. Also, a flick I haven't seen, Terms of Endearment on Amazon.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Worth seeing, Tim. All this.
You wouldn't like it.
Okay.
It's.
Would I cry? There'd be a lot of
probably.
tears.
You'd probably cry pretty hard.
Yeah.
Well, when we get back, our top 5 second films. welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our top 5 second films. Little bit of a strange title, Care. This is obviously our top 5 directorial features by directors.
Top 5 second.
Second, yes.
Feature
not
length
debuts.
Film.
The second feature or the second project by a director.
And this is usually the make or break, right? Like you've had a shot, you've maybe done well.
Sure.
And for me, this is everything rides on this. I think we've seen careers go.
We have, but also I feel like there's a tendency for second films to be bad, and then people recover from that. There's a thing called the sophomore slump, which is basically that your second produced film is a piece of shit because you had forever to work on the first one. Your second one's where you actually learn how to make a movie quickly, and then the third one is the one where you know how to make a movie quickly well.
Interesting. How's that stack up with what was your criteria? Is it pretty straightforward?
So I thought this was a really dud topic at first because I was like, second films, like what does that even really mean? And then when I started doing my research for this, I was like, this is going to be fun.
Right.
This is real good. This is actually a really good topic. So my criteria was it had to be a second film of a feature-length film produced by a director, excluding TV series, shorts, video game production, but does not include, but it does include music videos, documentaries that are longer than 1 hour.
Okay.
Interesting.
And here's my rule on co-direction. It only counts if you're a co-director if both directors, it's their sophomore film.
Okay.
Got it?
I'm with you.
Okay.
That is verbatim from the comment section.
It is?
On our site.
Are you being serious? Who said that?
Somebody, I don't know.
I have no idea either. Was it me?
Maybe it was. I don't know.
I don't think it was.
Thank you, commenter.
That's really interesting because I thought I was really novice right now in doing this in this criteria. Rob, easy on the wine.
I know
over
I'm
there.
driving Tim home, but I'm thirsty.
You are pounding that wine.
You're nervous because I'm good. I have such
You seem
serious
prepared.
criteria. I'm really prepared.
You're looking very
This is the
prepared
most this is the most prepared I've been on any episode ever in the history of this podcast.
All right.
I feel
All right, let's see how it actually works out
really
for
good
you.
about it. So yeah.
All right, Tim.
So for me, it was really hard to winnow down what did I mean when I said second film. So I also, like Carrey, have decided it has to be a second feature-length production. I do feel that feature-length things that were made for television, if they are not episodes, if it's like a TV movie, basically. So
that counts.
The like major case here is Steven Spielberg, whose first film released in theaters in the country in which he makes movies, which is the U.S., was called The Sugarland Express. His second film released in theaters was Jaws.
What was Firelight?
Firelight is it's an amateur production. I wouldn't count it just on like principle.
I mean, it was a feature-length film.
It might have been, but I would say that anything produced like at an amateur level doesn't count anyway.
I don't know. It would in my criteria.
All right.
Because it was a movie that was longer than an hour and was made in 1964.
Okay.
So yeah.
Anyway, for me, Jaws would be a shoo-in for this list, but I think Duel counts as his first film. Now, it was released theatrically in Europe. I don't give a shit. Like, I mean, God bless Europe. But in the country it was made in the country that its filmmaker exists, which is the U.S., it was never released theatrically. So Duel doesn't count as a theatrical release, but it does count as a feature-length project. The other thing that made it tricky for me was this question of what is a feature. Because the Academy of Motion Pictures, Art and Sciences defines a feature as being 40 minutes.
Okay.
Really?
I had 1 hour, but 40 minutes will do.
So where this really became a problem for me is the work of the 1930s French director Jean Vigo, who made a 40...
Yeah, me too. I was struggling.
Shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
Who made a 41-minute film called Zero for Conduct. And who only made one film in his entire life more than 60 minutes long. It's, I believe, 78 or 80 minutes long. It's called La La Land, 1934. It's beautiful. It's a movie everyone should see. I couldn't decide if it qualified.
Over 41. It worked.
I don't know. I ultimately decided against it, so don't expect to see La La Land on my list. Other than that, I think my list was pretty straightforward. Just feature length thing.
Yeah, I was trying to get clever with mine or do something,
hip.
Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
Sure.
Can I say There are a lot of great.
There are some good ones.
Second films.
Surprisingly so.
Especially for me,
I was
for my
expecting
taste.
this to be like a fairly short list of nominees, and I ended up with like 12 films that were strong contenders.
I had thought maybe I'd get clever and say it had to be better than the first.
Sure.
But in all of my cases,
they were.
It's the truth.
That is not the case for me in all cases.
Okay. So it didn't become criteria, it just became more of an observation. All of my movies are in the top 100 of IMDb, and all of them are above 80% on Rotten Tomatoes.
You want to know where you're going to go wrong on yours? Is what you probably did, knowing you, is you went out and you're like, hey, Google, what are the top 20-second films ever made? And then you look through those lists, right? Probably.
No, I went and just looked at my favorite directors.
Oh.
That's how I did it.
And I might get tripped up. So
you might not
saying
no, that's the way you should have done it. I went through all my favorite movies, then backed into who the director of those movies were, then backed into, is it a second film? And just miraculously, so many of my favorite films are second films.
Yeah, I would agree. Many of my favorite movies, potentially of all time, are second films.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known before this.
All right, Kara, get us started.
Okay.
Number 5.
You ready to have your faces
We're
blown off?
We're gonna have some overlap.
You think? I don't think so. You guys are gonna just go nuts because I think some of these you might not even know are second films. I was shocked. Here we go. So excited.
All right.
So do you want to guess what it is?
No.
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
5 times.
It's not a second film. I wish it was. So the first one I'm gonna go with, the one that followed this, was really good too, and the third film that followed this I actually liked even a little bit better, quite a bit better actually, but it's the 2014 Whiplash, directed and written by Damien Chazelle.
Hold on.
Yep.
Guy and Madeline on a park bench.
No.
Yep.
That was his first.
No, Guy and Madeline on a park bench. Yeah, you're right.
I said all of those words in that order.
Really?
You did.
Yes, that is his first film. Heads up to anyone who's in the Madison area, including both of you, my lovely co-hosts. Damien Chazelle will be presenting.
Really? That'd be
a selection
so
of his
cool.
work. He'll be in Madison this month, and I believe he will be attending the screening of Guy and Madeline on a park
I would
bench.
love to go see that.
We gotta
So check that out. Yeah,
Holy, I missed
I told you I was going to blow your face off.
cinema.wisc.edu if you live in the Madison area or want to travel out.
I would love that.
Because let me tell you, before you get into Whiplash, which is one of I love Whiplash.
know you do.
Are you rewriting your top 5 right now?
Yeah.
The problem is I excluded. I like La La Land, fine. I like Whiplash better, and
That's the wrong opinion.
It is, yeah.
I like Whiplash better.
I know you do.
Had I known, I might have changed the thing. So, Kara, nicely done.
Thanks.
I didn't do the proper research.
Let me tell you a little bit about it. A high school drummer enrolls in this super competitive music conservatory place, and he's being mentored by the best, who's played by J.K. Simmons, who's a super scary music director, and he's this sort of ruthless music director guy who pushes his students to their full potential through fear and I don't even know, torture, maybe you'd even say.
And flirting.
Who did he flirt with?
With the kid, with Miles Teller.
He did?
Oh, they were totally making out between scenes. You can just tell. You can see it in their eyes.
It doesn't feel like that
Absolutely.
happened, but if it did, I'm going to rewatch it. That's your hypothesis. You're the expert. So Miles Teller is in this too, and he's really awesome. He plays the drummer. It's a really compelling story about what you'll push yourself to when you want to be successful. And both Rob and I loved this movie, which is why I thought it might make your list, but I thought maybe you missed it.
But you done fucked up, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even know how to research a second movie.
I think it might have might have cracked my top 5.
I know.
Do you want to quickly rewrite your top 5?
No.
Just leave it. So, Tim, what is that? Not on your list.
Not on my list.
But what is on your number 5?
My number 5, and again, it took me ages to winnow this down, so a lot of really great films did not make my top 5. What did make my top 5 is the second feature film directed by a woman who I've talked about on this podcast before, the great French-Belgian director Agnès Varda, whose first film in 1955 is this weird little, kind of interesting, sort of broken, but totally worth seeing art film called La Pointe Courte, but whose second feature in 1962, one of the absolute must-see masterpieces of all time, Cleo from 5 to 7. And this is the story of Cleo, played by Corinne Marchand, who is a young woman. She's involved in the sort of fashion world of Paris, if I recall correctly. I believe she's a model who has gotten some tests done. And those tests will tell her whether or not she has a terminal case of cancer.
How's it turn out?
you'll have to watch, because what the movie is, she gets gets the test at about 5, and she's told you'll get the results in about 2 hours. And so we watch in real time Cleo from 5 to 7.
Real time.
And it's just like her wandering around Paris. She meets a guy. They kind of hit it off, but at the same time, it's like, this is not a movie where they're going to fall in love, because it's all in real time, and no one does that in 90 minutes. But yeah, so it's just this wonderful, amazing film about like inhabiting space with this really keyed up sense of like, is this it? Like, am I going to find out in an hour that I'm going to die? And like, that's not stress. Like, it's not like she's not bemoaning the thought of death, but because we're primed with it right at the beginning of the film, like that hovers over us as viewers.
Yeah.
And as someone who has been in that situation where I was just sitting around waiting for a doctor's report to tell me, what sort of sickness I had, as I think most of the people listening to this podcast know, I am a cancer survivor. So like, this hits home really hard for me. But no, it's just like, it's such a wonderful depiction of like that process, and like how you sort of just you got to do something, so you go window shopping, or you just go into a park or whatever.
I'm surprised that hasn't been done. Like, I don't think I've ever heard of anything else being done like that.
I mean, it's a great
that kind of surprises
picture.
me.
I mean, the other thing that leaps to mind as being similar in that it's a real time, like watching people walk, is Before Sunset, but it's not common. Like, it's done very, very infrequently. But yeah, Cleo from 5 to 7, Anya Sparta's second feature film, one of the absolute. You have to see it. Everyone, whoever you is, you have to see it.
Okay.
That's myself included. This is one, my number 5, is one where I actually didn't see the directorial debut of this until much later. And I didn't particularly like the directorial debut.
Sure.
But this director, now known for his editing styles and his ingenuity in editing, with an Oscar-nominated feature in this year's Oscar.
Do you know what it is?
I thought I did for a minute, but I lost track of it.
Okay.
For editing.
Logan?
Memento. I'm talking about Christopher Nolan.
Oh, sure. That is his second feature, isn't it?
You took my number 4.
Is that your number 4?
Yeah.
Hey, we're kind of in the same vicinity. So yeah, it's a man juggles searching for his wife's murderer and keeping his short-term memory loss from being an obstacle. This hit me at the right time. I was a high school senior, had not seen any film where it was shot in or presented to you in out of a
reverse
linear
order.
Reverse order.
Yeah.
Everything
like
non-linear.
Reverse, but also forward, depending on which set of
and meeting
footage.
in the middle, right?
Meeting in the middle.
Yeah. And
Christopher Nolan, did you say that?
Yeah.
Yep.
I was this man, this director is my God. Like
he's really good.
He's very good, and he's carried forward his trying to kind of I don't know what your thoughts are, Tim, on his editing.
I need to see Memento again.
Yeah. This movie in particular did for me. Nominated for 2 Oscars. Audience members Callum H. and Brigda, I hope I'm getting that right, also had this on their top 5. Stars Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Joe Pantoliano.
Joey Pants.
Number 49 on IMDb's top 250. 92% Rotten Tomatoes. 8.5 on IMDb. I just love this movie.
It's a good one.
It just...
It's
a film noir.
You really don't know.
It's a film noir, which carries forward the following, which also was a film noir, but done in such a interesting way that I had not seen before as a 18-year-old.
So you bring up the following. Was the following
was his first film.
Good?
Following was his.
It's a very promising film, given the remarkable. It was made for like £100,000. It was. Yeah. It is a very low scale thing.
It shows potential. Yeah.
It's not really worth watching.
It's not worth watching. Did he do better? So, followed that was Insomnia after this one. Did he do better with Insomnia? I never saw that one.
Insomnia is not a movie that I like very much. But I think, you're Chris Nolan. You just made one big word of mouth hit. You want to do whatever you can get your hands on. And I feel like Insomnia is the film that had not terribly... he's still a young director at this point. I feel like Insomnia is not terrible.
I wouldn't say it's a cash grab, but it's one that he did without him writing.
It's the one he did because at that point in his career, that's what he could get his hands on.
Yeah.
His next film after that was Batman Begins, and to me, that's where he clicks as a director.
Yeah. And now he can write his own ticket, which he did with Dunkirk, presenting a really unique approach to direction on a large scale. I'm excited to see what he's going to do next after Dunkirk. But yeah, he really hit it home for me with his second.
I'd like him to make a musical.
That would be
a dour musical about men whose wives are dead.
You have good taste. I also love this one too. I think if you haven't seen this movie and you're a person that likes movies like The Machinist or what are other good comparisons to draw to this? It's
Irreversible.
Irreversible?
Not kind of.
Sort of. I don't know. I love this movie. Is it kind of in the
dark,
prestige kind of like?
Well,
it's clearly like the continuities in Chris Nolan's filmmaking are pretty obvious. Maybe except for Interstellar.
Yeah, that where he branched out a bit.
Yeah.
Either way, this is a good one. If you've missed it, it's one to check out for sure.
All right, number 4.
You took my number 4.
That was number 4. So
all right.
It hops over to my number 4, I guess. So my number 4 is the second film of a director who at the time was already being noted for the enormous length of time between his movies. His second film came out in 1978. First film came out in 1972 or 73. I don't have that number in front of me. This is the director Terrence Malick, whose first film was the very, very wonderful young criminal lovers on the run film Badlands, whose second film, possibly his best film. This is one I go back and forth on a lot.
Do you know, Rob?
No, I don't.
Days of Heaven.
I don't know Terrence Malick
Days
very
of
well.
Heaven.
Days of Heaven, 1978, his last film for 20 years until The Thin Red Line, his third film. So Days of Heaven is basically the story of life during the Depression. A group of people, Richard Gere, I believe, is the main character-ish, just sort of like going and living life, harvesting, and then Richard Gere's character sort of gets in a love affair with, oh my God, I don't have it in front of me and I can't think of her name. Sadly, not an actress whose career has done terribly much. She's very good in this film. But it's like a love story set against fields and dusk skies, and this is very famously a film where Vilmos Zsigmond, the cinematographer, was enjoined to shoot every single exterior shot possible in what's called golden hour, which is this like 20-minute window of sunset where everything is just bathed in this rich yellow, and like the whole movie looks like it's beautiful.
What's the other one that was like that?
Yeah,
probably another one directed by. Oh yeah, that is
Revenant.
Also
they tried to do
directed by one of Terrence Malick's later like go-to cinematographers, or shot by rather.
Oh,
Emmanuel
interesting.
Lubezki. But yeah, so Days of Heaven is just a beautiful. It's like a poem. It's like a tone poem in movie form. It uses, I believe, Camille Saint-Saëns' music to just create this very sort of loose, dreamy mood. It has narration from a 12-year-old or 10-year-old girl who doesn't really know what's going on, but just sort of prattles in this way that becomes very relaxing and lovely to listen to. Super pretentious movie. I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah. But absolutely one of the movies that just like, if you want to just see like a pretty movie.
What's the thing though? Like what's the conflict or what's going on?
I mean, like there's sort of the romance goes awry.
Okay.
It's not really.
He starts like skipping on the dishes and stuff.
That's not Terrence Malick's thing though, right?
No, he's not a plot director.
He's not. Okay.
He's about mood. His films are all about like, what does it feel like to be in the space right now? Like just like listen to the wind, look at the light. What does that feel like? And that's what his movies are.
Okay.
That is a long. What did he do in between? I wonder.
He taught philosophy to undergrads.
Okay.
He spent a long time trying to get the film that eventually became The Tree of Life produced.
Oh, right.
But yeah, so I mean,
that one I saw on the airplane that time.
Yeah, best way to see Tree of Life. I remember saying, Carrey, you watch this movie on a plane.
3x5.
If you can't manage to do it on your phone on a bus, you should watch it on a plane.
Watch it on a plane, and I did. I always listen to you, Tim. You're always right.
The appeal of Days of Heaven is that it's only like 95 minutes long, so you get that stuff in a much more condensed package.
Okay.
Wonderful movie, beautiful movie.
Cool.
My number 4 is a director who we dedicated an entire podcast episode to his creation.
Quit taking my picks, man.
Oh, really?
I already know what it is.
Okay.
It's my number 3.
I have not seen his 1977 directorial debut, The Duelists. But I certainly saw many times 1979 Alien.
Yep.
This
was in my 12.
Number 12?
This was in my 12.
Oh, in your top 12.
I can see where like the fields and corn that you were talking about supersedes
some of us like fields and corn, some of us
the
like
world-building Alien.
Toothy penises.
Ridley Scott created Alien. I mean, in 1979 as his second feature. What's The Duelist? Tim's Duelist?
Never seen it.
Never seen it?
I haven't seen it.
It's supposed to be good.
Oh, is it? Is it supposed to be good? Oh, man.
You liked it more than Blade Runner, which came next?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, everything about this movie.
Blade Runner's excellent. About that.
We've talked at length about this, but it's just a great film.
Who's in it, Rob?
Tom Skerritt. We've got Sigourney Weaver playing the lead character. John Hurt, Ian Holm, Harry Dean Stanton, the late Harry Dean Stanton.
Stanton.
Space of merchant vessel.
Yaphet Kotto.
Oh, yeah.
One of the Cartwright sisters. I can never remember which one's which.
Space merchant vessel gets an unknown transmission. They try to go help.
And, do you mean the Nostromo?
Okay, sure. Yeah.
That's the name of the ship.
Not an incidental name. That is a name taken out of the writings of Joseph Heart of Darkness, Conrad.
Okay. But just a great, it's a thriller. It's a thriller horror movie set in space.
It is.
Have not seen anything. No one had saw
Who's made a horror movie in space? Nobody.
It's never happened
The only time it's
before.
ever happened.
With Sigourney Weaver, there's only been 12, but this is a good one. At the time. And
it still holds up. We saw this on our screen down here, and it looked great. It sounded great. It still holds up.
It's the second best Alien.
It's the best Alien.
Aliens 2.
And also, it is an almost like plot for plot remake of an earlier film about an alien on a spaceship. So it's not the first time this was ever done. It is, however, by far the best time it was ever done.
Nominated for 2 Oscars, won. Andrew Milne, WBTN, and CRD audience members also voted this one as their top.
This is a movie I adore. I love this movie so much. I just
it's a good one.
Couldn't carve out room for it on my top 5.
I did not expect to like it when you guys made me watch it, and I was so blown away by what they were able to produce so many years ago. I remember just being like, "Oh, this is really, really good."
Intense and super intense.
So
Absolutely.
tense. One of the best thrillers.
It's a slasher movie in space.
This was your number 3?
That was my number 3.
I keep skipping Carrey, basically.
Yeah, that's fine. That's how everybody wants it.
This is good. It's going to be a nice, tight, short episode.
It will be. Here's where things are going to get crazy, and Rob's going to lose his mind because he's going to have missed these last 2, and these should be on Rob's list. So here's where things... Well, actually, no. My second one should be on Rob's list. My first one should be on Tim's list, and neither of them will be. And this is where I'm going to blow your mind.
Wait, where are you going? Are you going number 3?
So here we go. This is number 2.
You're already at number 2?
I'm at number 2.
Wait, well, I haven't done my number 3, and Rob hasn't done his.
You just skip ahead.
Let's just completely lose the momentum of that.
I feel like we're doing so well. Like no one, like we haven't skipped ahead yet because he's just basically.
You're right. All right, go with your number 3, and then I'm gonna do that whole thing again that I just did. So just wait for it.
Luckily, we wrote it down, so you can just repeat that script.
Right.
So my number 3 is the sort of de facto, I got to do this because I'm a film scholar and a film historian. Mm-hmm. So I had to put one on for more maybe historically important reasons and because I love it. So this is the second film by the crazy Russian genius Sergei Eisenstein, whose first feature earlier the same calendar year in 1925 was Strike. Strike is a movie I like better, honestly, but this is the film that gets like all the credit for basically inventing editing. Not really. Like, don't quote me on that, for God's sake. But the movie is Battleship Potemkin, which is a Soviet film. It's about the 10-year anniversary of a mutiny on the ship Potemkin, which was one of the major events in a series of revolutions that eventually culminated in the Communist Revolution of 1917. So it's a film. The Potemkin is a ship in the Russian Navy. The sailors are abused. They are fed rotten meat. They revolt. The revolt of the sailors on the Battleship Potemkin is met with significant force, but also significant enthusiasm from the people who live on land. Mm-hmm. And eventually the Potemkin pulls into the dock at Odessa in what is now Ukraine. Actually, I think at the time was also Ukraine. And there is a massive, massacre, basically, from the Tsarist troops that kills many people, many innocent people. Very famous sequence where there's this huge massacre on the Odessa steppes. But yeah, so Potemkin is a film in which the young Eisenstein, who had spent the last several years formulating these really complicated ideas about how do we generate notions out of editing. It's easy to say, oh, I'm going to cut on I'm going to show someone holding a coffee cup and then I'll cut to the coffee cup and that's how you edit to show, hey, there's a coffee cup. This was much more about using editing to create new ideas that were not present in the footage without the editing. Really complicated stuff. It's a really unbelievably well-structured film that is just, I could not tell you what's going on in this movie in 5 minutes. I couldn't tell you what's going on in this movie in half an hour. Just suffice it to say, everything we know about how editing works in the year 2018 was predicted by this movie in 1925.
Potemkin?
Battleship Potemkin. Potemkin.
Okay.
You even got the Russian Potemkin in there. I
actually speaks
I am
Russian.
currently studying Russian cinema underneath a Russian native. And if this ever gets back to her and I decide it's the Battleship Potemkin, I would be thrown out of my school.
That's why you should say Potemkin and see what she says.
So I took 4 years of Russian just because it was easier.
Say something in Russian.
Yes, Russian was easier than what?
Easier for me because I speak Polish.
Oh, sure, because it's one of the hardest fucking languages.
Say something in
Здравствуйте.
What did you say?
Hello.
Oh, that was.
But I'm curious, is this one of those movies, because I've seen some Eyes Unseen, do you have to have an appreciation of not knowing what's current to look at, like someone like
I'd hate
casual
this. I'm sure I would
Carrey
hate this, right?
Carrey wouldn't be able to.
This is an art film with a capital AF. Yeah. It's this is a movie for historians and scholars and filmmakers. This is not a movie for audiences.
So something to skip.
You've already crossed it off the list.
It's a movie which by design does not have a clearly articulated narrative because he wanted to prove you could articulate the narrative solely through editing.
Okay.
Does that sound exciting?
You didn't have me at the wheat earlier. The wheat's flowing in the field, so I think
that's when it doesn't have a plot because he doesn't believe in plots. Totally different.
So far right now, though, you have me at your first one.
I'm curious if any of my other films actually have a plot, and I think the answer might literally be no.
And that, again, this is where you're going to be wrong because I literally can't wait to say my number one. It's one of your favorite movies, and you've forgotten it.
All right.
Just wait. Okay, Rob, go.
I'll just spoil somewhat a little bit of my next three because they are on my top 5 of all time, so I couldn't not have them on my list, right? Like it would be.
This is your number 3 or 2?
It's my number 3.
Okay.
It does have a plot.
Okay.
It's about a relationship that turns sour, and when a relationship turns sour, what do you want to do? You want to erase the person from your mind. You don't want to keep thinking about this person. I'm talking about 2004's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Michael Gondry's second feature after Human Nature, which I still haven't seen. Maybe okay.
It's not good.
Yeah, I'm fine.
It's fine.
The only reason I didn't choose this was because it's his third film.
All right. I don't know.
The work of director Michael Gondry is a 5-hour-long movie that he did after Human Nature in 2001.
What was that?
The work of that sounds like it might be an anthology of his music videos.
It is, but it's videos, short films, commercials, music.
But it sounds like it might be it doesn't sound like
they brought.
But how do you define that? It's 5 hours long.
He didn't direct. He
directed it.
He didn't direct it to be 5 hours.
It is 5 hours long, and it's so many things. It's not like it was definitely not a short, and so I couldn't include this.
I'm saying he made stuff over the course of the 1990s. They were then cut into
the work of director Michael Gondry.
I think it's
like
a DVD.
A best of album.
I think it's a DVD that I own.
It is. And would you classify it as a movie?
I would most certainly not.
Oh, come on! It for sure is.
So this would have been on your top 5, though?
No. Not in this case. It would have been.
What are you arguing with me about?
I was waiting for you to.
You knew this would be on my list.
I totally blanked on Human Nature, or this would have been a contender. Let's call this number 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is like number 7 for me.
I love this movie. Nominated for 2 Oscars, won 1. Callum H, audience member, and Becca Stewart also had this on their list. You've got Jim Carrey, best performance, very like subtle, not over the top.
Second
for him.
Second, Ace Ventura 2.
Yeah,
let's
do not go in there. That's one, but
Ventura, yeah,
Ventura.
Because
is something all right with your voice? You did a weird thing.
That was my Ace Ventura voice. Kate Winslet, Tom Wilkinson.
Woo!
First time I noticed Mark Ruffalo. I had not.
I think I had at this point already noticed Mark Ruffalo. Yeah, of course, he's in the movie with the sister. That's good. You can count on me.
Oh, okay.
Real good movie.
I don't know.
It's real good.
Maybe
tell us about Eternal Sunshine.
Elijah Wood, Kirsten Dunst. It helped me ask, you're reaching for the wine?
No.
I mean, if anybody has been through a tough relationship, whether romantic or not, is it easier? It asks the questions, everybody says, is it easier to have not to love than lost than not
is
to
it
have
in
loved?
fact?
Yes. I mean, it is a visual representation of that and actually going through, erasing out those moments
So your dog passes away. You could go and that's the worst thing that could ever happen in your entire life from my own personal experience.
I'd rather not have remembered the dog.
I would, that's the question.
That's the question.
Would you rather have erased the memory of the dog or keep it because those memories are so good?
And the movie follows Jim Carrey's character as he's erasing these pieces. It's probably okay, little by little. But then as you realize the moments that you're going to be leaving behind, That's
they define you.
They define
Those
you.
Moments define you.
It's like it's not better to have loved and lost.
Is it?
It is better.
It is better.
It's what the movie I think is trying to say, and it does it in a very interesting way.
Would you erase your brain if something happened to me?
I'd hold on to the memories.
You would?
There's so many good ones.
See, I would only erase my good memories, so everything that happened to me would be the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wait, say that one more time.
I would erase all of my good memories.
Oh, okay.
So all I remember is all of my suffering.
Oh, so anything
then, like, even if it's like Doritos are on sale at the grocery store, this is literally the best thing in my life.
That's so wise. I want to do that.
I think wisdom is exactly what I was gunning for with that one.
This is number 87 on IMDb, 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's to be seen. It's a very good movie.
It's quite good.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
That's my number 3. I'm surprised not on your list because it qualifies.
It didn't qualify for my criteria particularly, but you know what does is another one of Rob's favorite movies of all time.
This is your number 2 now.
This is my number 2.
So finally, you have not been sniped.
I've not been sniped. Do I need to do the whole intro again about you guys like losing your minds and going bananas?
I'm going to lose my mind.
And go bananas? Okay, here we go with director Steven Chbosky. Written and directed by Steven Chbosky is the 2012's The Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Good movie. Not my top 5.
What is this first movie?
Let me tell you. Hang on one second. The Four Corners of Nowhere.
I've never heard of this.
I have not either, but I have heard The Perks of Being a Wallflower because Rob cried and laughed and was like, "This is the best movie I've ever seen in my whole life."
I don't know if I said that.
That's what he said.
I bet you said it in that exact voice.
He
too.
did. He did. He
was
was
my
like
Ace Ventura voice. Actually,
he was weeping when we watched
Carrey's
it.
Ace Ventura just now was way better than yours.
He loved this movie, and so did I. We both saw it on a random day when our kids took a nap, which may have made it more magical than anything else. But it stars Logan Lerman. Emma Watson is in this. Ezra Miller, who had a standout performance for sure.
Ezra Miller. This is like the beginning of the Ezra Miller legend. Actually, I think this might be after we need to talk about Kevin. But Ezra Miller's fucking great.
Yes. I saw that too. But Paul Rudd's in this. Dylan McDermott, like Kate Walsh. It's a big cast. Melanie Linsky, who I just kind of like didn't realize when I saw this who she was,
She's for
is
real.
in this.
She's
and
legit. She needs to have a
awesome
bigger presence in the world.
Yeah, she totally does. So it's about a shy teen without a lot of friends, and it's the story of him dealing with the suicide of his best friend in high school and encountering sort of first love and coping with the demons from his past. Like, it's all these things rolled into one. And then he's taken under the wing of Ezra Miller, one of the high school seniors. So he's the young kid. He gets taken under the wing, and they help him open him up to like friendship and accepting his past and just all these sort of things that like come to understand yourself kind of stuff. And it was just 100% complete movie for me that I was like, I had all the feels. And yeah, who knew? Second film by Steven Chbosky.
Great flick. I didn't know it was the second flick. I believe it's his third flick, Wonder?
Yeah, it is. Which also,
did
it do pretty well?
It did all right.
It did quite well. It did shockingly well.
I always hear really good reviews.
I hear a lot of
it.
teachers are taking kids to go see that to understand differences.
You're thinking of Black Panther.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. To understand humanity. So this one is good. And if you somehow have missed it and I feel like people should see it. I know you don't love this movie, Tim.
I don't even like this movie.
I know you don't, which I think
gave
is
this
so
movie
weird.
a negative review.
I think it's very weird. I need to understand why, but I don't actually want to know.
All right. I will say this. It gets Bowie chronology wrong in like a really showy way.
What's Bowie chronology?
David Bowie.
The song that they play in the tunnel.
It's like, there's this thing where it's like, we're cool because we know the song Heroes and no one else knows the song Heroes. And in 1990, I was 9 and I knew the song Heroes. And if I knew it, it's not cool.
And that's what really brought it down for you?
That's what ruined the movie. That's the scene that like, that's literally the only thing I remember happening in that movie.
If I had known, I would have been so appalled.
It's a big scene, but the whole movie just like left me ice cold.
Yeah.
Mostly because of Logan Lerman, who I find wildly uncharismatic.
Logan Lerman played. You thought, he's the cutest thing.
If he's uncharismatic, that's fine. He's supposed to be, right? Like a little bit.
But like,
I
don't find him to be a compelling screen presence.
Got it.
Anyway,
agree to disagree. But that was my number 2.
All right.
So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is basically The Perks of Being a Wallflower of the 1940s.
Hard to imagine.
That it is about a young man who has lost his way and has to find his way, but instead of finding good friends who do that, he becomes a greedy, grasping bastard who everybody hates, and he ruins his family. Yeah. His family, of course, are the magnificent Ambersons. 1942, Orson Welles' second feature following the little-known Citizen Kane. So
what's the actual title of
The Magnificent Ambersons.
Oh, okay.
It's the title of the movie.
Okay.
A very famous movie.
I thought that was like a punchline.
It was a punchline, but it was also a play on words.
Also the name of the movie.
So The Magnificent Ambersons, basically that. It's about the youngest Amberson boy who, fucko Amberson, I don't remember. It hasn't even been a while since I've seen the film. I've seen it within the last 6 months. But so the young Amberson fucks things up. Just fucks things up for everybody.
In what way? Like, what does he do?
Like, he gets in the way, like, he's this arrogant little rich prick who thinks that being a member of an old money family gives him, like, moral rights to be an asshole to everybody else. Gets in the way of his mother's second, like, she's going to have a second marriage, gets in the way of that, ruins his grandfather's reputation, just sort of ruins everything.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie.
Okay.
This is Orson Welles' second film. So it's basically the film where after Orson Welles learned how to make movies, he came out, he made Magnificent Ambersons. To judge from the footage we see, it was going to be better than Citizen Kane. Like, that is my thing. Like, I look at this film, I'm like, there was a better film than Citizen Kane that got made. Unfortunately, RKO hated Orson Welles a whole lot. And when he left for South America to do location scouting for his next film that never got made, they required the editor, Robert Wise, who himself became a very great director later on, to recut Magnificent Ambersons and in the process really gut it. And you can just see where the cuts happened. Turned a 2.25-hour movie into an 85-minute movie, changed the ending to make it a very, like, optimistic, everything's going to be better ending instead of this, like, sober, harsh fairy tale ending. Even with all of that, even with a movie that has transparently been butchered, still so much of the characterization is powerful. The music, the first score, if I'm not mistaken, of Bernard Herrmann, certainly a very early score of Bernard Herrmann. He had his name taken off the film because he was so outraged at what was done to it. The cinematography, the way scenes are constructed, the performances across the board from especially Joseph Cotton, I'd say, and whatever his name is who plays the young Amberson, I forget his name. Just a really beautiful, challenging, very, like, serious, dark, but, like, really clever, smart study of characters.
Better than Alien.
Yes.
I'm not buying it.
All right.
I'm not buying it.
You haven't seen any Orson Welles flicks, have you, Kara?
I'm sure I have.
I've only seen Citizen Kane. Or no, maybe the one with... I don't know. A big
Chimes
long
at Midnight?
shot. Long shot.
Oh, Touch of Evil.
Touch of Evil.
This is way better than Touch of Evil.
Okay.
Touch of Evil for a long time was the only other Orson Welles film people liked because it was the only one you could really, like, get your paws on in any real capacity. But Magnificent.
What's the way to introduce someone like Carrey, a casual moviegoer, to Orson Welles? Would it be helpful to
Citizen
see, like,
Kane.
An RKO? But would it be like a little bit of information of, like, I remember HBO had an RKO special, like how Citizen Kane was made, basically.
Here's the thing. I would say that Citizen Kane, and this is one of those weird secrets that everybody kind of knows, and Pauline Kael, the critic, like, was really super forward about telling people this. Citizen Kane is a hell of a lot of fun to watch. Like, it has this reputation of, like, oh, it's the best movie ever made. So, like, it seems like, oh, very serious, and we have to approach it very delicately. Citizen Kane's a blast to watch. So I'd say if you watch Citizen Kane and you don't like it, don't bother.
Okay.
But Citizen Kane,
I should try that.
Yeah,
I should try that.
I'd like to see it again.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a film school requirement in most cases.
Oh yeah, you don't get through film school without having seen Kane.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
Well, we've been talking a lot about Alien. I have a little bit of a tie-in to Alien with my next pick, my number 2. This director took over a little bit later on from Ridley Scott and James Cameron with his third feature of Alien 3, 1992. Not great, but still pretty good. I think underrated.
That was the director's first feature.
That was first film.
You said
and
third.
He came back. Oh, sorry. Well, it's the third Alien movie.
The third Alien was his
third
first
Alien
feature.
movie.
Yes, got it.
His first feature. And maybe things weren't looking so great for David Fincher. But then, 3 years later, in 1995, he came up with 7.
He sure did.
You mean before or after he did The Beat of the Live Drum in 1985?
It's a music video.
It's a documentary, actually. About the life of Rick Springfield. And
no, not for me.
It is customary to refer to Alien 3 as his feature debut.
It doesn't feel like it from, like, the facts, but you can go with that.
Carrey also did a little play with Tim opening the gift of What's in the Box. This movie it's another film noir based on the 7 deadly sins.
Yep.
And
love it.
Yeah, great.
Didn't meet my criteria, but love it.
Super dark in its presence, in its cinematography. Kevin Spacey really came on the scene, I think, with this movie more than anything else.
So good.
Nominated for 1 Oscar. I love this movie.
You do know that it's not okay to talk about Kevin Spacey right now.
That's okay.
Okay.
It's where he came on the scene.
You're saying it's one of the virtues of this movie that introduced us to Kevin Spacey.
One of the 7 deadly sins.
Okay. I'm sure on many episodes ago, I've already done the same thing.
If I can just go ahead and alienate every last viewer or listener we have, I don't like you starting sentences with Kevin Spacey came on.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, they're gone. Now everybody's gone.
Now it's just us. No one's listening.
That's fine.
We can just talk about the show.
Better that way.
Well, audience members,
I'm going to take off my pants right now.
Callum H. and Becca Stewart also had this on their list. That's twice in a row for me, so they seem to have my taste as well.
Very Robbish taste.
Yeah, I love you guys.
It was so good.
Number
I love it.
Number 22 on IMDb.
I like this movie a lot. It ain't no way in hell is it the 22nd best movie of all time. Just other better movies on my list. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm a big Fincher fan, so Fincher stays on my list. Probably is one of the best directors for me.
Seven's a great film. To me, Fincher didn't really become like, oh my God, he's so good until Zodiac, and he didn't maintain that after Zodiac.
Wait, Zodiac's after Fight Club, man.
I don't like Fight Club.
What the?
I know.
Read the review of Fight Club on your own website, sir.
I'm going to read it.
Rob's going to maybe fight now.
Yeah. Well, maybe make a club
and get a club.
It. But yeah, 7. Great idea, great concept. I know Fincher doesn't write his own stuff. No. But he brings it to life very well.
Oh, I take it back. He also did Social Network. That's good too.
Yes. Yeah, Social Network. God, I love Fincher. All right, so that was my number 2.
Here we get crazy. We're gonna get crazy with my number 1.
Number 1.
This is Tim's favorite movie of all time, and it's co-directed by 2 people who it's both of their secondary directorial situations.
I had no idea, Care.
Nothing.
That you love this movie.
Wait, do you know what it is?
Yeah, for sure. It's my number 1.
No, I don't believe you. It's directed by Ron Clements and John Musker.
Oh, this is going out of the box. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I will say I decided very quickly to disqualify animation.
What? Oh, you can't. Oh, because it's a movie, or
because it gets too complicated to talk about.
So based on your criteria, they worked together.
So they got their directorial start as 2 of the 4 directors on The Great Mouse Detective. Okay. They then by themselves did their second work on
The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid, Disney, 1989.
1989. Okay. The Little Ariel.
Sure.
Sebastian the Crab.
Eric, man.
Eric the handsome man.
Eric the totally uninteresting prince.
So this is my favorite of the Disney animated films. I love it. Like I said, directed by Ron Clements and John Musker as their second directorial film.
Are perhaps the most... I don't know if they've had more films than any other Disney directors, but they've done a lot. Some really good films.
They did. So this followed by Aladdin was their third, I think.
Followed by Hercules, a very underappreciated movie.
So good.
Followed by Treasure Planet.
Let's stick with Little Mermaid.
Then swung back with Princess and the Frog, and most recently Moana.
But of those, the best being The Little Mermaid, which stars Jodie Benson as Ariel, Samuel Wright plays Sebastian the Crab, and Christopher Barnes plays Eric. Don't look him up. He's not what you'll visualize as Eric. P.S. He kind of looks like you guys. But anyway, right. Pat Carroll is Ursula.
Pat Carroll is so much Ursula.
She is amazing in that movie.
We'll have to do best animated villains.
One of their best characters.
Best villains of all time.
Of all time. She still frightens me. Still frightens me. So she's actually still alive. She's 90.
She sure is.
Unfortunately, King Triton is passed away.
Kenneth Mars.
Very sad. Did you also know something? I'm going to ask you a true or false question. Is Flotsam and Jetsam a man?
I don't understand the question.
Is the voice actor who plays the eels male or female? Is what you're asking me. I actually don't know, but since you're asking, I'm going to guess no.
I know. It's a woman.
I feel like you don't ask the answer.
I know. I was like, how do I do this on the fly? I was trying to throw you off by doing a double
You're just trying to get me confused on tenses.
Exactly. Who knew? And she plays both of them. So anyway, this mermaid princess who dreams all she wants to do in the entire world is go on land.
Fuck men.
And
just fuck them.
And find Prince Eric, and go on land and go to this forbidden land above water. But her dad says
forbidden
no.
Land of Eric's dick.
She isn't that kind of girl, but
she's total. Look at what that. There's an orgasm scene in that movie.
What are you talking
when she comes out of the water
about?
And she like throws her head? That's a total. She's coming.
She's
coming hard.
Eric's not even under the water.
She doesn't need Eric. I think that's the plot of the movie.
This is the worst. If you're listening, this is not true.
No one's listening anymore. I made the terrible
listening.
Kevin Spacey joke. Everyone's gone.
It's true. Everyone's gone, so it's fine. But also not true. But all she wants to do is then be with Prince Eric. So she gives up the ultimate price to pay. She gives up. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but she gives up something really important to her, sort of.
I think it's okay.
It's okay. She gives up her
I think
voice.
if you haven't seen Disney's The Little Mermaid, do so.
I know. It's
right
so
now.
good.
What is wrong
but she gives up her voice. And then it's like, do you need your voice for somebody to fall in love with you? Maybe, maybe not.
No, maybe you just need a crab staging a Broadway musical number in a bayou.
And
maybe
it
that's
works.
all you need. And
that's
it totally
all
works.
You need.
And that's where the movie recently has gone under some flack for, she doesn't speak.
I would, let me put it this way. I would feel very uncomfortable showing this film to like daughter, like your girl's age.
Right.
But like as a grown man who understands this, like fuck it. I love this movie. This is a good movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
I agree.
And I saw this as a kid, so I never thought about like my independence or like voice being taken away by. I mean, you don't think about it that way. We think about it that way now in the current times, and as like adults, you don't think about that as a kid. So this is my number one, as it should be.
It's a great movie.
And
like
didn't
I said,
make
I
yours.
DQ'd animation. Wall-E was right up in the thick of it for me for a while, but then I decided, you know what? Animation's a special thing. If it's not like clearly a directorial voice situation, and I felt really uncomfortable. So no animation for me.
All right.
Instead,
what's your number one, then?
So my number one, you're going to get to hear. This is the limits of my ability to pronounce the French language.
I can do it. Do you want to show me?
Well, the issue is that it's numbers, and I always in my head I want to say the numbers as numbers in English as opposed to in French. So I'm gonna struggle through this.
Eins fein.
Apologies in advance. This is the 1975 Belgian film Jean Dielman, 23 Quai de Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles.
You sold me.
I was trying to write it down for later.
Jean Dielman, 23 Quai de Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles.
Yep, you sold me for sure.
This is the second feature by Chantal Akerman, whose first feature you may recall from our top sex scenes episode, Je tu LL.
Oh,
yeah.
Her second film, even more sexy and exciting, 3.5 hours, about a wowoman cooking.
You were just like, you can't really like these movies.
I really like this movie a lot.
I do.
So here's the thing. So Jean Dielman, oh damn it, I'm son Delphine Seyrig. Delphine Seyrig plays Jean Dielman. Single woman with an adolescent son living in Brussels, Belgium, or Bruxelles, and we see 3 consecutive days. I think it's 3 consecutive days. Certainly 3 days. I think the implication is it's 3 consecutive days. 3 consecutive days in her life. So I'm going to describe the movie, and it's going to sound like I'm bullshitting you.
I find that hard to believe. You've never done that. Yeah.
Here's the thing. We watch one day in her life, and she does basically 2 things. Well, several things, but she goes shopping to get stuff to make dinner. She gets the ingredients put together. She makes dinner. Then her job, or the thing she does for money, she lets gentlemen come to her home.
Sure.
And they have sex, and she receives money. For that. She's a prostitute.
Okay.
And so the film breaks roughly into thirds. Again, this is a 3.5 hour movie, so we're talking about an hour and 15 minutes or so, just like showing us that's her day. The second third of this movie shows us the next day, which is basically the same stuff. She goes shopping, she buys stuff, she, makes dinner, she has sex with a guy, she gets paid. But a couple things are just a little tweaked. They go just a little bit awry. And then the third day, things go even farther awry. But what's fascinating is because it's so long. Believe it or not, the 3.5 hour movie about a woman who cooks dinner feels long. The little tiny shifts, the most microscopic little shifts in her daily routine feel seismic. So when things go mildly off course on the second day, it feels like you just watched the Death Star blow up. Like, it's that big of an impact. This is a movie made in really, really long takes. It is a movie made from an avowedly feminist perspective. One of the few times when I think a female director trying to like tell a woman's story really totally just threw out the rule book for how do we represent events visually, came up with a brand new visual language that is like tied to the idea of woman's work and a woman's domain is the kitchen, and like reclaiming all of that. This is to me one of the just simply great films. This is when I last...
What's your hook? Like, what are you like, oh yeah.
It's a 3.5 hour film about cooking.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The hook is if you're the kind of person who hears 3.5 hour movie and goes, and then hears, and you get to watch her cook in real time, you're like, oh, yeah, that's the hook. If you're not that person.
So that second wave has now phased out.
I mean, I watch a lot of...
first wave tuned out, but
I watch a lot of
really...
food, I watch a lot of Food Channel, so I feel like...
It's a great movie. Okay. I will say this. The first time I ever saw it, I was in a theater.
Yeah.
So you are required. You're stuck with the movie. You're watching the film. You can't leave it. It's just going to happen. Jean Dielman is going to cook, and you're going to have to fucking watch it.
Was anyone else there?
It was packed house.
Were you jotting down the recipes?
You could create these menus.
That's a good idea.
That's the thing. Watching it on television, you really badly want to stop watching it because it's boring as shit.
Right.
But like when you're not able to, when you're like required to sit there and watch the movie, it just becomes so powerful. This is a movie. The last time I published a top 100 films of all time, made the top 25.
That is shocking.
This is to me an absolute, unequivocal masterpiece. Probably the best film ever made about the perspective of a woman.
Have you read other reviewers' comments on it? Is it well reviewed by others?
This is a wildly beloved film.
Oh, it is. Okay.
This is a movie that like critics pass around like fucking crack pipe. Like critics love this movie.
It would have been better if you had said like something food related because it was cooking like
brownies,
crackers.
Crack.
Like cheese.
On toast.
Cheese okay. It sounds...
like pot butter. Like a big old tub of pot butter.
Sure,
I don't know.
Sure.
Great movie. Totally movie with a self-selecting audience. But
okay.
I would urge anyone who thinks this sounds even
say the title again.
I'm going to just use the English language numbers because I can go through it faster. Jean Dielman, 23 Quai du Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles.
So in English again.
That was in English.
Okay. All right.
It's an address. It's her address.
That made your top 25, Tim?
Yes, it did.
All right.
Maybe it was like number 26. It was way the hell up there.
Yeah, this is my number one, which makes IMDb's number 18. It's a little higher than top 20.
I'm going to stop calling 25. You out because this is probably on the list of like three ones that aren't number two.
I thought when you were talking co-directors, I thought this is for sure where you were headed, but then it would have surprised me because I don't remember you really being into this particular movie.
Singing in the Rain?
Singing in the Rain.
Wait, that's their second movie?
No. This is...
Don't say Cameron.
No, I'm not saying Cameron. I'm saying The Matrix. 1999, The Matrix. Lily and Lana Wachowski, which is not what they were known at the time.
They were the Wachowski brothers at the time.
Wachowski brothers.
They have not yet officially rebranded as the Wachowski sisters, but I live in hope.
Oh, I would have. Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, why not? They're still just going by the Wachowskis.
And perhaps, if you would have seen 1996 Bound, you would have had maybe a glimpse of what the future would hold.
That to me is what's fascinating about Bound, and I know we're not talking about Bound. You see it in 1996, it's like, oh, here's these two Dubros making a film about lesbians. You watch it when they're both out trans women. It's like, shit, this movie's all about like performing gender. I love Bound.
Right, yeah. Who knew, right? Like, I think you're right. I think it's worth the second look of Bound if you haven't seen it just for that. But I guess I can't say the balls that they had. I can't at the time. To make The Matrix from Bound, to take the studio's money that they gave them, all of the money, and say, you know what? I'm going to take your $10 million or whatever it is that you gave me for the whole movie of The Matrix, which I pitched to you, and I'm just going to make the first 5 minutes of that movie.
Yep.
What happened?
Here's what's amazing. Here's what's amazing about The Matrix. They wrote The Matrix. That was going to be like their big thing. And the studios were like, what is your fucking problem? This is not a film. You cannot make this. So they wrote the Sylvester Stallone film Assassins, and they made Bound just to prove like, no, see, we know how to make movies. And then they did this thing. They like spent their entire budget on The Matrix basically on a demo reel to prove that The Matrix could be fucking awesome.
How much money again?
$10 million.
I believe it might
have been only 5. It's 5 or 10.
It's maybe 5 or 10. So the studio greenlit the project and said, we'll give you the money for The Matrix, but we'll give you $5-10 million, whatever. They said, okay. They went off, they spent the money, and they made 5 minutes, the opening, basically, of The Matrix. Which
so how did it end up in the end?
I think they got
because the 5 minutes were so good that Warner was like, okay.
Was it successful afterwards in terms of what it cost? No, I knew it was successful, but how much did it end up costing in totality?
60.
I don't know the final budget.
I feel like
it was at the time, I think, the highest R-rated film ever.
Yeah, it made it.
Its sequel is still the highest R-rated film, highest grossing.
Huh.
Someone can correct us, but starring Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, Lawrence Fishburne, again Joe Pants on my list 2 times.
Joey Pants and Carrie-Anne Moss.
His real name is
Pants?
That's
true. Yes, both times.
Well, his real name is Pantoliano, but I think Joey Pants.
It works.
It captures the essence of the kind of characters he plays.
Okay.
Won 4 Oscars, mostly on the technical side of the house, because what it did
shockingly did not win a Best Actor Oscar for Keanu.
This movie again hit me right around the same time as Memento did. The philosophy that it deals with was interesting to me. It hadn't been presented in such a way or at all to me at the time, so it really left me with a lot to think about. Yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah. I did not love this movie when I last saw it, and I hated both of the sequels. But since the time I've seen any of the Matrix films, I had my huge come to Jesus moment with the Wachowskis, and I really want to rewatch it because I love their shit a lot.
Yeah.
And I love about the Matrix that it made so much money, on this weird financial chicanery that Warner's. Not still. I think they finally got cured of it. But for a long time after, Warner's was like, hey, you want $100 million to make this thing that will never turn a profit? Here you go. And that's how we get Speed Racer. That's how we get Cloud Atlas. And that's how we get Jupiter Ascending. All of which were clearly going to bomb. And Warner's was like, oh, you made The Matrix. Maybe you're going to make The Matrix again with this fucking movie where Eddie Redmayne screams at bat people.
Is there hope still for the Wachowskis? Do they need to be reined in with budget?
We don't want them to be.
Right.
Here's the thing. Their current situation's hard to gauge, because I always forget which one transitioned first. I think Lily is the one who transitioned second. Lily, that was a very traumatizing experience for totally extraneous reasons, has decided to spend a few years just out of the spotlight. Lana was involved with Sense8, the Netflix series that cost $5 or $10 million an episode and was making nowhere near that much money. And I feel like the failure of Sense8, which is fairly recently in the past, means that they are going to have to go back to something cheaper for another Bound. Yeah, but that's great because Bound, I think, is their best movie.
I think that helps directors a lot of times to be restricted financially, to force the creative spirit out. I don't know how I feel about Shyamalan having similar restrictions, and I feel like it's a second.
Well, his last 2 movies are better than anything he's done since the early 2000s.
So there's hope for the Wachowskis. Alex Frith also had that on his list of top 5s. Every week, we ask you to share your picks and thoughts for a chance to win a free Amazon movie rental. Based on the results, here are your top 5 picks. At number 5, so despite the debate, Jaws tied for number 5.
All right.
So
to me, I can't. This is third movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah?
Duel is not an apprentice film. Duel is a fully fledged work of genius.
Also tied for number 5, which made our poster one of my favorite movies, but I just couldn't quite get it to crack the top 5. Rushmore. Wes Anderson.
That was
second.
on my 12.
Okay.
Nice. It was not a long-lived member of the 12.
That was in my top 1,000.
Okay.
Have you even seen 1,000 films?
TPD.
Also,
TPD.
Isle of Dogs coming out soon for Wes Anderson. A lot of folks excited to see that. Here's where animation kind of creeps in with our number 4 is WALL-E. Tim, you mentioned you
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I thought hard about it, but I just, it would have been the second film by Andrew Stanton, who also previous to that co-directed, I think, Toy Story 2. I just couldn't do it.
Number 3, kind of surprising to me, I believe it's John Carpenter, Assault on Precinct 13.
Yes, that is his second film. It's an excellent film.
I've seen the remake.
Would not have been. Oh God.
Yeah.
No, not even the same. Don't even pretend that's the same movie. And actually, they have significant plot differences. So
surprised not to see on Carrey's list, but certainly like it as well. James Cameron's second directorial feature, The Terminator.
I was going to be real sassy.
I know.
And I was going to be sassy in this particular way. So James Cameron's first credited work as a director was Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Agreed.
However, by all accounts, James Cameron's work as a director was basically sitting in the chair that said director while the producer did everything, and James Cameron was getting pissed off that he was being attached to this shitty flying fish movie. It's about flying piranha. It's awful. So I was going to be all sassy and be like James Cameron's second film, which could either be The Terminator or Aliens. In the end, I kept remembering other things that just kept shoving them off. But no, that was very much in my top 10, was a sort of like Terminator / Aliens like theme.
Okay. Well, it didn't hurt our number one, which Alien has been mentioned several times in different variations here, but number one was Alien. Really, Scott. Yeah, no, the people cannot supplant the fact that what a great
Potemkin crowd.
No.
Bummed out.
And our lucky winner this week, Brennan Klein, a longtime listener of the show, he had Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's the director?
God's name was Toby.
I don't know what
first film.
Toby did before that. Little Shop of Horrors, and then confused, just like me, Brennan had La La Land. Depending on your criteria,
it happens if you're not in the film scholar category.
I don't know that. I mean, God bless you and God bless Brennan, both of whom I like you personally, and I feel like Brennan's a really talented writer. Guy in Madeline's not an edge case. Like, it's a film.
Yeah.
It exists.
I don't know why
it got released.
I thought Whiplash was just his thing.
You get that, yeah.
Brennan, either way, shoot us an email at contact@alternateending.com for details on how to claim your free movie rental. If you want to win a free movie like Brennan, be on the lookout for a spoiler or top 5 movie posts on Facebook and Twitter to share your favorite picks. In closing, thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out on social media. Go out to our Facebook page and like it. Check us out on Twitter, tweeting all the time, alternateending.com.
And Instagram.
Oh, Instagram.
You always forget Instagram.
I forget Instagram. I'm going to write that in right now. We do a lot on Instagram.
Also, you can hang out in Madison and you might see me and I'll be like, hey, did you see a movie?
You're trying to sell people on coming here.
Well, I'm trying to tell them to come here to Madison.
I'm saying if they're going to see you, they might not.
You don't have to see me. You can just listen to me. I talk about editing to my students.
Audit a class of Tim's. Send some feedback.
That's if you Patreon at the $50 level. You get to audit my class.
Be sure to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. Make it easy for yourself to get all of our latest episodes. And yes, don't forget about Patreon. Next episode with Red Sparrow coming out, flying into theaters.
With not just Red Sparrow, but also Death Wish. We have a twofer of films about morally questionable human beings, but we're rooting for them anyway.
Yeah, send us your top 5 anti-heroes, depending on how you say it.
I don't know what that means,
like an anti-hero is like if someone's aunt is the hero. Like Mary Poppins is like an anti-hero.
We'll go anti-heroes then.
Anti-heroes.
We'll catch you then.